Rundown Tuesday, July 26th. It's brought to you by Movement Watches. I'm rocking my rose gold Movement Watch today. Go to mvmtwatches.com/rundown. You get 15% off your entire order. You know the drill. They make high-quality watches that look like all the fancy brands, but it starts at just $95. So you don't have to spend $400, $500, $1,000 on a watch. You can go out there and get a fresh watch, whether you like the leather bands, the metal bands, light colors, dark colors. They got it all. They got you covered. Movement Watches, mvmtwatches.com/rundown. 15% off your entire order. Go get them. We got DNC kicked off last night. The Republicans had their turn. Now it's the Democrats' turn to embarrass themselves. Your boy Bernie Sanders got up on stage and had people crying in the stands like he was a fucking boy band, like he was Michael Jackson on stage. The Bernie bros were weeping. Fights, we begin with you. What do you got on these dudes?
I can't fathom it. I can't. The whole Bernie Bros Sanders, the Bernie Bros movement, I can't fucking understand because like they had like white women sitting in the stands last night with silenced tape over their mouth, like they're fucking like oppressed black people because I don't know, because there were emails or something like that. I don't understand the reasoning behind all of it. It's fucking insane to me. Can you imagine? Like we talked about how it was bad that people at the Republican National Convention were dancing in the seats. Can you imagine what we'd say if they were sitting there crying while, like, Ted Cruz was on stage? That would be the craziest fucking thing in the whole world.
To me, it's the same thing as, like, protesting. Like, I can't think of anything in the world that would make me go protest. I can't think of anything in the world, especially a political speech, that would make me sit there and weep like a baby. Dan, what do you got on crying for Bernie?
I can understand it because Bernie Sanders isn't his whole, like, his entire campaign was this idealism and people thinking that politics would change, and they give money to Bernie Sanders and expect him to, fight the good fight. And then he goes and to them sells out and endorses Hillary Clinton. It's like, dude, this is what politics are. The person closer to the middle usually wins, and you have to suck it up and you have to, support your party. This is why a two-party system is insane. Like they were mortal enemies for 6 months, and then he's got to get up there and be like, vote for Hillary Clinton. So the fact that all these people didn't see this coming is insane to me. And that's exactly the type of person that would cry at a convention.
These are all the people that thought they were going to get everything for free from Bernie.
Yeah, no touch with reality. Right.
Pay for everything because Bernie didn't win.
Right. This is how the world works.
I guess it's kind of like crying at the end of a championship game, and like plenty of sports fans do that. But if you care about politics, like people care about sports, we're never going to see eye to eye on fucking anything. I'm never going to understand how your brain works, ever. Susan Sarandon was there rolling her eyes, too. Like, what the fuck? Of course you fucking love Bernie Sanders. Like, are you kidding me, Susan Sarandon? Get out of town with that bullshit. Are you nuts?
Did she let her tits out again? She's been going with tits out for the boys recently. Good for Susan. We got a boat fight down in the Maryland area. It's a slow day. It's one of those summer days, but this boat fight is an all-timer. A drunk family out on a little tiny boat. The narcs next to him on some like regatta end up calling the Coast Guard because they had a little bit of a drunk scuffle. Dan, what do you got on these guys?
Yeah, those people are the worst people in the world.
Oh.
I know we hyperbolize, but those people, fuck them. This is a boat. Like, when you're on the open waters, you should be able to do what you want. Those guys are there's no guns. There's no fires. They're not crashing their boat. They're handling their business. Two fat boys just duking it out. With all that said, though, that was the most awkward fight because of how small the boat was. Like, you got to get them in the water. You have to be like, stop. Both of you go in the water. Duke it out in there. One of you might drown, and then we'll save you. But it was way too close a quarter. They're fighting in a phone booth if a phone booth was full of 15 people. And I did like when they started whipping each other with the fucking thing at the end.
That was incredible. That was
fights. I know you're you're a boating man. You live that regatta life. I'm sure you got some thoughts on this. What do you got on these guys?
I can't decide who I hate more because I hate people who are just anything but happy on a boat. Like when you're on a boat and you're on the fucking water, you have no reason to fight. I don't care how drunk you are. I don't care if someone just fucked your girlfriend below deck. It's like you're on a boat. Man.
Did you see how small that boat was and how fat those guys were?
It wasn't the most luxurious of boats.
Dude, if I was on that boat, that fight came about because like one of them took the other guy's seat because like you can't sit normally as a fat guy on a boat that small. Like, you can't lay down. You got like that. It's an uncomfortable situation. I'm telling you this much. One of them got up to get a beer. The other took his seat. The other had to stand or go sit in a seat where he's like really scrunched and all his fat rolls get there. And then you get a fight. Get a bigger boat and there's no fight.
That's not an excuse to fight. If you're fucking fighting over someone taking your seat, you're a child.
When you then get stuck with the fat roll seat, it's not a child move. I'm telling you that much.
No, it is a child move. To get in a fight over a seat, if that's really the situation you want to go with, is a child move. Go fucking stand up, go for a swim, and then get another seat. There's no reason to fight on a boat ever. I've almost been on one fight on a boat. It was with my girlfriend, and I did exactly that. I just jumped in the water, and I just waited until she calmed down, and I got back on the boat. There's a fucking perfect escape plan from any fight ever on a boat. It's a nice day. You got cold beers. That's it.
I can't stand the narcs on the other side of things. They're unbelievable. The people complaining when they were talking to the Coast Guard saying that they didn't have any PFDs on them, like they didn't have life preservers. The one guy on the Facebook note was like, I was really concerned someone was going to fall overboard. Like, fall over? We're talking about like falling off a cruise ship. You would have just fallen in the fucking water.
Right.
Those people so over the top, so dramatic, so hardo. The fact that if that was me, I'd just sit back and watch the two fat boys duke it out. No need to narc. No need to call the fucking Coast Guard, man. Let them do their thing and whip each other with the antenna. That was a great move.
No, best case scenario for that situation would be both boats crash and everyone on both boats dies because they were both being fucked.
Everyone dragged. We go to this golf pro-am invitational, whatever it was. Justin Timberlake walking through the crowd gets quote unquote slapped in the face by some weird ass fan who really just reached out and kind of like brushed up against his face. Definitely not a slap, but still a weird move nonetheless. Fights your boys, JT. What do you think?
We often say that an open hand slap is more disrespectful than a punch in the face, which is true. And I almost feel like just touching someone's face is more disrespectful than the slap. Like just going up to someone's face and being like, look, I could have ended you right here. Just like caressing their cheek. That I think is ruder and more of a slap in the face than an actual slap. So yeah, that JT had a perfect. JT should have, instead of calling the cops, which is what I believe he did, or at least the guy got arrested. I don't know if JT personally called the cops, but you have to kill that guy. You have to swing on him. As soon as someone just lightly touches your face, that's an act of war, and you have to open up after that.
Dan, agree or disagree that Justin Timberlake has to murder that guy?
Well, I totally agree with the fact that is way more egregious than an actual slap, because an actual slap is violence and you're justified with your response. This is a confusing situation where you're like, what did this guy just do? Did he put poison on me? Like, what's going on? You know what? It's kind of like, you ever hear about how like pregnant women say that random people sometimes come up and touch their bellies? That's kind of like this. It's a personal space issue that if you're going to come in my bubble, at least make it a violent act, not like a sensual touch of my cheek.
And the fact that dude was, like, defiant. Like, I think the golf officials went over and, like, you got to get the fuck out of here. And he was kind of like, no, man, I just wanted to touch him. No touching. You don't get to touch people's faces. You don't reach out and touch anybody. Stay within your lane. And if you do that, you get kicked the fuck out. You're lucky, you didn't get murdered. So just be happy you only got kicked out of the golf course.
Then again, it is like a Lake Tahoe celebrity pro-am where I'm sure everyone is so fucked up. So as a celebrity, yeah, you got to be like, this is probably not going to be the best situation for me. There's going to be like drunk idiots all over me.
What you can't have is walking through a little narrow fucking
pub. Yeah, really, actually, now that I'm talking this through, maybe you got to kill your security guard. That's a bad security guard.
Somebody's head has to roll when you get...
He's got to snap that guy's wrist before it gets to your face.
Email leaks. I don't know. I guess this email leak's a big deal. The most interesting thing I've heard of it is probably what you blog, Dan, which is probably fake, which is Hillary asking for a hot dog with no bun. This is one of those situations where I'm just going to choose to believe this is real. It's like Santa Claus. This definitely happened. She definitely asked for a naked dog. What do you got, Hillary?
It's a very Hillary order. All business, just want the hot dog, no bun. The email leaks, I don't understand. They're just so hot in the street now. Like email leaks, everyone's talking about email leaks. And I'd say I speak for 99% of the world here where I don't even know what's really getting leaked or what's being said. I just know the email leaks, like, it's hot right now.
Yeah, people are talking about the leak without talking about any of the actual emails because nothing was said.
Which means that there's nothing really that important that got leaked. They just like to talk about the email leaks.
Well, they leaked 20,000 emails. If you leak 20,000 emails, then you leaked 0 emails.
Right.
Because I don't read my own fucking email. Like, if I get 5 emails in a day, that's too many for me to read. If you think I'm reading 20,000 emails between Hillary and the DNC, you're outside of your mind. But even the stories, like, recapping them, I've looked at a couple of them, there's nothing really very interesting. So it's kind of all boring. But this one it's believable because Hillary's just, like, not a real person. She's horrible. Like, she's just someone, you would hate someone who only gets a hot dog without a bun, and you hate Hillary. So you kind of just, like, transitive property. Okay. It makes sense. That's how it works.
I also like this theory, like, you can't trust Hillary because of the email leaks. Dude, if you leaked anyone's emails, you'd be like, you can't trust that person.
Oh my God.
Come on. Come on.
You could leak mine because I don't reply to emails, I don't read emails. You couldn't leak my fucking text messages. But you could leak my emails.
Well, that's the real answer right there. If you're a politician and you're sending emails, you're a fucking idiot. No emails. You can't put any of that shit. That's the lesson here. Stop sending any emails. And it seems to me like the big overall theme here is like, well, this proves that people were favoring one candidate over the other. You're no fucking kidding. That's what politics and elections are. Give me a break. Cara Duvigny, I don't really know how to say her name. Let's talk about her for a second. I'm on K. Marco's side here. He was the one who blogged it. She's hot. She's a model. Don't get me wrong. I definitely would have sex with her on a plane. Is she that hot? Yes or no? Fights.
This is it's a tough question because the answer is going to be a little skewed because recency bias. I just looked at all those smoking hot pictures of her that K. Marco put in intentionally. So I kind of forget what she looks like regularly. But I'll say this. I keep forgetting that she's in Suicide Squad because Margot Robbie just overshadows her so much.
Dan, are you a Cara Duvigny guy?
She's like classic like model hot, where she's very, very pretty, but she's also super, super skinny and super, super tall. And like you don't see those chicks. Those aren't real world, you know?
She's got your eyebrows, which is just not a good mix.
You don't want that.
Those models have like
those are bad.
That's what like model hot is. Like you have some weird thing about you that like the ones with like the gap tooth or the big eyebrows or like Sydney Crawford's mole. Like there's something weird and unique about you that like they love that on the model. So yeah, she's got those bushy ass eyebrows which are a little strange, but they worked for me in those pictures because they looked nice or something. I don't know. I guess they were trimmed in the pictures K. Marco put on.
She's whatever. We got that out of the way. She's kind of weird. She's kind of hot. Anyway, she has sex on a plane and kind of sounds like angry. She didn't have sex in the bathroom. She had sex on the plane in the chair and almost sounds a little bit pissed off that another passenger would not stop looking at her as she fucked.
Was this first class?
I would have to imagine.
It's a good question.
Okay, if it's first class, then I think that I have her side. Like first class is definitely a rich person, don't look at each other's business kind of thing. Coach, like, I mean, I've flown first class once and I felt like a prince. I'm a coach guy, obviously. It's a C and B scene. It's a fucking rat race out there. You know, you can look at everyone's computer screen. You can watch the guy's movie next to you. Like that, all that shit flies in coach. First class, I think you have to have some respect for the people having sex.
That's great. Dan, I've also flown first class once, and there's no greater difference in reality than first class and economy. It's two totally different worlds. I hate myself every single time I have to get on economy now, just because once I flew first class. Dan, that's a great take. I think it's such a mean girl move. Like they always do this in like high school movies, like when the nerd's looking at like the hot girl and the quarterback making out, and she's like, "What are you looking at? Mind your business." That's like such like a hot mean girl move. Like Cara Delevingne's probably done this 1,500 times in her life. Like, quit looking at me, fuck you, fucking pervert. It's once you're used to it, it flies wherever.
Also, is she a lesbian? Is she having lesbian sex?
I believe she is bisexual, but I believe she said she was riding in this situation.
Okay, got it. Because like lesbian sex, I really don't think you can intrude on that one. Like that one's you got to like it's 2016. You can't gawk at lesbian sex, you know.
Then you're the bigot. Yeah. Hey, just let them go down on each other. That's love. That's true love. The other piece of this story was that Margot Robbie has had sex on a jet ski before. That's pretty awesome.
Sounds really dangerous.
I would really love to have sex with Margot Robbie on a jet ski. That would be ideal.
This is why I think that hot people just aren't like the same species as us. Because like I can't have sex in a bed.
Yeah,
I know.
Like the most difficult place I've had sex is the back of a car, and that was goddamn impossible. And that's basically just a small bed. So to do it in a an airplane chair or on a fucking jet ski in the water, that's
crazy.
That's
unsafe.
That's a level of sex that I'll never reach.
Come on. Let's get in the bedroom and do some missionary, guys. We're getting a little out of control.
She specified that the jet ski was not moving. I was like, still, this is impossible.
She said in
well,
the
that's
water.
just stupid. I don't even understand what that is about.
Dude, I can't imagine like just standing on a jet ski. Can you imagine having sex on a jet ski?
No.
Just
imagine
the waves are rocking you. That's impossible.
Imagine if the narcs on that yacht saw that going on. Forget about it.
But that was probably in Australia, too. In Australia, there's no such thing as a narc. They do whatever the fuck they want over there.
Speaking of doing whatever the fuck you want, Marlins man on Twitter last night, the PMT crowd once again just trolls Marlins man to the max, tweeting out a Photoshop picture of him with his middle finger up. Marlins man erupted. Someone is defrauding your website. Get this down. What do you got on your boy?
Dude, he's not real life anymore.
No,
I mean, I've gone from hating him to I think I love him just because he's so not real life. It's almost like the Rico Bosco thing. Like, it's so out of control and so weird that I don't even understand what's going on. He actually was like telling people to report like the fake picture. Like, we didn't know that it was fake. And like saying, please take it down from Twitter. Like, and then he said he invented the J, like the Kansas Jayhawk J hand. He's out of this world. I think I like him now. I've gone a full 180 on Marlins man.
Leave it to Marlins man to say that he invented the letter J. That is such a great claim.
And you're like, oh yeah, he probably did. Because like, why not? He's fucking Marlins man.
Fights Marlins man.
I see. This is where Dan and I differ on a lot of situations. Dan likes the weirdos. Dan, and I think Dave does to an extent too. The weirdos, it just doesn't play with me. I don't like weirdos. I love Dan and the PMT crowd fucking with him, obviously, but the weirdos just annoy me. Like foul ball guy, Marlins man, Rico. I don't get in on that. That's not my scene. It's funny to watch other people troll, but like I'm still sitting there like mad. I'm like, why is he such a fucking idiot? Like,
I'm with you on that.
What?
I can't embrace it. I can't. Not Marlins man. Foul ball guy. When you're a harmless weirdo, whatever. When you are like a cocky, arrogant weirdo saying you invented the letter J and telling people,
dude, come on. That's what makes the internet fun. That's so absurd.
The J is getting to me. In claiming you invented the J symbol is next level cockiness. Telling people to report you to Twitter to report it's a fake, like Twitter would be like, oh my God, we got 1 million reports of a fake picture of Marlins man. Shut it down,
dude. The internet sucks for like 95% of the time. There's all these cynical assholes and whatever. These guys are the best. These guys that actually think Marlins man thinks he's changing lives. He thinks he created the J. He thinks that like a Photoshop picture of him giving the finger is an assault on his reputation.
His brand. Yeah. That isn't even really a brand.
That's so fucking funny to me. Like, that's so out of this world that I can't get enough of Marlins man. The guy's not from this planet. He's not from this planet.
The question is, who's more of an alien? Who's more delusional? Marlins man or your boy, Rico Bosco, who took it to a new weird level with his Rico-ness and this little saga with me and Nate. I genuinely thought he was still playing along up until last night when I had to speak to him on the phone. For people who don't know what's going on, because it was kind of convoluted, because I can't believe it even turned into a thing, I tweeted out a picture.
You lied.
A screenshot of all my DMs of this guy who sent me, like, seriously 75 straight DMs asking if I watched his video of a stand-up act. Nate responded that it was Rico that did that as a joke because that's something that wacko fucking Rico would do.
Lies.
We lied.
When Dan does that, that's what gets me mad. Like, Nate was a joke. It gets me.
You guys didn't say it was a joke, though. You lied. You lied. Lies.
So Rico gets mad that we are assassinating his character, that we are giving his name, which is an alias, a bad name. It bubbles for a few days. Last night, he issues a statement saying that he has retired from Barstool Sports, which is a job and a role he did not have to begin with, effective immediately. I got his phone number from Dan. I texted him. Now, in my mind, this was going to be like a Tico, Texas thing, where, like, we're fighting, we're beefing, but, like, a bunch of people will download this podcast. I'll exploit you for your downloads. We'll all play along. You'll get your exposure. I really thought that he would understand we're playing the game. And I called him up, and I said, what's going on? And he goes, nothing good. Nothing good. And I was like, okay, well, why don't you come on Mail Time? And he's like, nah, it's bigger than that. It goes deeper than what's on the surface. And that's when I was like, all right.
Agree with him.
Enough. So I was going to try to have some fun with this. You are clearly catching feelings. You are getting emotional. We're done. He told me it's not worth it, and we both hung up. That's it. Rico may be dead. I'm never going to talk to Rico ever again.
If you apologized to him, all you had to do was send an apology to the internet and Rico, and all the Rico riders would say it's okay. But nope, you kept on lying, and I stand with him retiring. This is a Danny Boy Kane move. At no point did he send you a DM. It's garbage, it's rubbish, and it's not true.
I loved every second of ruining Rico's fake internet career. I love the fact that I made him retire.
I hope it's not the last we hear of Rico.
I buried Rico Bosco.
No.
It brings me such joy to know that I eliminated him from the internet.
Rico was a great character on the gambling podcast. I hope it's not the last we hear of him. He and Dave used to always go at each other.
On the gambling podcast. That's the reason I didn't like him, because I had to listen to him every damn day, every Thursday, while you guys talk.
Well, John, you also talk shit about him in circles. So you know.
That's what he said. He told Hank that we have circles where I talk about him. It's like,
yeah.
That's how delusional it is. He thinks that like outside of the Barstool world, I'm talking about Rico fucking Bosco. You're insane. You're an insane person.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted his. I think this whole beef started because he wanted a sit down. He kept calling it a sit down with KSC Radio or Mail Time. Like he's fucking Obama and I'm Barbara Walters. Rico, nobody wants to talk to you. Nobody cares what you have to say. Nobody cares. No, not even Dan.
Lies.
Buddy.
Lies. Kevin, how are you feeling about the fact that the Cubs now have the best bullpen in baseball?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Theo. Tip my cap to the ownership. The Cubs are doing it. They know exactly what they're doing. They know that you have. You listen, your window is probably open for a long time, but windows they can close fast. Everybody knows that. The Cubs know that. They're going for it. They really didn't give up. They gave up a lot, but nothing that's really going to impact their current team.
None of those guys were going to play in the big league level because we have too much talent right now.
Exactly. They go get Chapman and his fucking gun, popping off at his wife. It's fine. It's no big deal. They're going to go win a World Series now. It's like I watched the Mets do this where they had a small window and incredible talent, and they're just going to squander it. So I hope you enjoy it, Dan, because
Dan, how do you feel about Chapman saying
season, Dan? Now it's like you really have.
There's so much pressure. So much pressure.
Well, that's one thing that sucks, and that's one thing I've learned with the Patriots is when you're that good, it's awesome. Don't get me wrong, but like when you win, it's almost more of like a thank God than when you're supposed to do it every step of the way. It's almost like a relief rather than you feel plenty of joy. Don't get me wrong, but there's also a significant portion of just like, that's like a huge weight off my chest since it would have sucked to lose because everyone would just been like, you blew it, you choked and yada yada. But how do you feel about Chapman saying he hopes he goes back to the Yankees in the offseason?
He did?
Yeah, he said God willing.
He'll probably just go re-sign with them. But
I mean, I never really,
ring with the Cubs. Who cares?
He's a weird dude. I actually had a Cincy Stooley send me like a whole I have to run it the like Chapman guide. Like he just drives fast cars and dresses weird and maybe like hits his girlfriend.
Shoots his girlfriend.
He's a fucking weirdo, man. And I said that I was like Of course, our comment section can't understand holding two thoughts in your head at the same time. I'm not gonna not root for Chapman. I'm not gonna not root for the Cubs. There's nothing that's gonna change about my excitement for this season. If you had like your druthers, would you rather win with the guy who's a good guy or win with the guy who's a bad guy? Obviously, you'd rather win with the good guy. And obviously, you can't just be like, Chapman's a fucking great guy. Like, who cares? He's probably not a great guy, but he also can pitch 105 miles an hour.
Anybody who complains, first of all, 105 miles an hour shit is garbage. The Yankees were just jacking up that gun right at the trade deadline.
He's hit it before, though. He hit it in Cincy.
Yeah, 105 is a different story, though. 105 is like made up.
No, he hit 105 in Cincy. He hit like 105.18 or something like that.
He hit like 109 one day. It just keeps going up and up and up. Anybody who can't understand that it's human nature to just separate, I root for this team, and I just don't really care about like the domestic dispute or the gun charge or whatever. I just don't.
No, but
care.
I think you should. I don't think you should. I don't think you should be like
offended.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. You shouldn't be like, who care? Like, who cares? That saying who cares is bullshit. You should care that like the guy might not be a great guy, but it's not going to change me rooting for the Cubs. That's
to expect that to outweigh your fandom is not. It's not human nature. It's not how it works. So
I mean, fucking Bears signed. Yeah, Bears signed Ray McDonald, and they weren't even close to competing. And that guy's like the biggest scum of the earth. So that's their teams were going to do that. I mean, Jose Reyes, did he get booed or did he get cheered?
He probably got cheered. They probably all chanted Jose, 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 and that's that.
Yeah.
We don't really care.
Yeah. What do we got for? Oh, tomorrow we have our first female guest on Pardon My Take, Rachel Nichols.
Oh boy, that's a good one. I mean, she is well liked all around. So
yeah, we'll see how that goes. And what do you got for mail time? Are you gonna just do? You should just prank call Rico the whole time.
I mean, I was banking on Rico. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll just keep calling him until he picks up. We'll do the Lenny Dykstra, but with Rico Bosco.
Love it.